Hello everyone, it's Lixie, and I know I'm back with another video so soon, right? But I think that's a good thing. So for today's video, it's going to be a more chill and relaxed video. I'm not going to be using a script, so I'm sorry if I stumble here and there with my words. I'm not exactly the most articulate person in the world. And for my speed paint, I'm going to be slowing down the footage from my usual speed of around 15 to 20x to around 4x. So this way it's a lot easier to see my progress and my steps, and I think that can be more helpful to you guys too. Yeah, so if you want to see the way I choose colors or what it's actually like, you know, in real time, or not real time, but you know, like slower time, then yeah, I think this might be a good option moving forward, because I do have the ability to record kind of like slower or less long duration speed paints. This one was actually only an hour long, but by making it only 4x, my video can be, you know, not like 1 minute. So yeah, so okay, anyways, let's get started with kind of the, you know, voiceover and narrative. Oh, not narrative, I'm so sorry. With the, what's that called? Maybe narration. Yeah, narration. There we go. Okay. So what you're looking at right now is a redrawing of my OC Lilium. Her name means lily, and I think that's a variation on that word. Yeah. So I created this OC in I think maybe May or April of this year. I really wanted to have like a more aesthetic looking OC with like my own aesthetic when it comes to fashion and colors and like features. So that's why I created her. I really wanted like a new mascot, even though I think Rhyme is still like pretty good mascot. Rhyme is, by the way, the blue hair girl that you see in my profile pictures and also in some of my art that I do on Instagram. So yeah, I also have an Instagram if you guys don't know. So the reason why I decided to redraw Lilium was because I wanted to try the new style that I kind of came up with in my last video for the art bend challenge. Basically what I'm doing is I'm using only the pen tool, so there's no blending, you know, there is no blurring. It's only like kind of like binary strokes, like the pixels are very distinct from each other. So there's some pros and cons to it. I think one pro is that it's very easy to carve out shapes like shadows, lighting. It's very easy to do that. We don't have to worry about the colors getting muddy. I think that's another good pro to it. But some cons could be that it's harder to kind of grasp in the beginning. It does require a lot more knowledge of like planes of the face or like how lighting and shadows work. And maybe color theory too, because you can't really like mix the colors around as much. Like, oh, I'm gonna use this color and this color, and the middle color of those two colors will be like a better color, you know? You can't really do that. You have to select everything from like the color wheel, color picker. So I think that's a major con to it. But I really do like it. There is a lot of subtle like nuances that you can't really obtain through this style. Like for example, I think the way I do the blush, oh sorry about that, that's Discord. The way I do the blush is really subtle, even though I can't blend. And I think that's still like really, really nice looking, which is really surprising because when you think of blush, you think of like a really soft gradient look, but even without like using airbrushes and such things like that, I'm still able to, okay, you know what, I'm gonna mute this real quick. I am so sorry, I was not expecting this to be part of the video, but you know, I'm not gonna use a script and I really don't want to do 2 takes. Yeah, very sorry about that. Like I said, this is a very chillaxed video, so we're not gonna worry about messing up a little bit here and there, and I do have like what 15 minutes of footage to get through. So yeah, let me just make that real quick, and there we go. Now they can't bother us anymore, thankfully. Okay, anyways, yeah, so there's difference in knowledge, and there's also differences in obviously looks and tools, right? Like I mentioned that before, but compared to my usual style, which has a lot of blending, a lot of like soft, you know, transitions between values and tones, I think this one is very much like blunt, like very much like cutthroat, like the transitions. Obviously because I can't blend, but because of that, you know, it's a very more like, I don't know, how do I say this? A more like striking look. My lack of vocabulary is showing. But yeah. Like, it's a very, you know, like strong, like a strong look. It's not like very soft, but it's not like very jagged, maybe? Like really rough either. I don't know. I just think it's like a really nice in-between look between the two. Yeah. So I think I actually might use this style a lot moving forward for like quick sketches and studies. I don't know about like finished rendered pieces because those do take a lot of effort and do take a lot of rendering to make sure everything looks polished. Now, I'm not sure if I can do that with this style since literally I am using really rough shapes and very rough colors and lines to make it work. But you know, if I can do this maybe with like a softer brush, like the same method, but with maybe like a lower opacity brush, maybe I can do that. But I'm not the best at rendering or at polishing things. So we'll see about that. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about the drawing. I think right now we're at around the face. I struggled so much with the face on this one, especially with the shadows, like the subtle shadows. I also don't know why I never put the hair on. I don't know why. I always leave the like character looking pretty bald until later stages of the drawing, which isn't like super pleasant to look at, but I think it's okay. Yeah, she looks okay right now. Yeah, this is like a train wreck of a voiceover. But I think it's nice to kind of like slow down, you know, take a step back and really just be, you know, more I guess more genuine in the way I do things. I do think that in the past on this channel, when I use scripts, I sound very forced and like very like weird sometimes too because of my tones and the stuff I use. I think just the way I talk when I read a script, it's very different from how I talk in normal conversation. So sometimes when I look back to those videos, I actually do cringe quite a bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I talking like that? Like, I do think that a lot. So yeah, maybe I'll do more less scripted or maybe like not scripted at all videos. Well, after this one, actually for this one, I'm using bullet points. I'm using like a few bullet points. So it technically is not scripted, but I don't think I can remember too much to talk about off the top of my head. Yeah, so that's like also a thing. Okay, so maybe I'm actually okay, so I was thinking about giving kind of a life update. I don't really share too much about my personal life or my school life on this channel. Not for like any particular reason. I just never really thought about it. Like how that actually maybe it's good to share more about myself and what I do right now to maybe make myself a bit more three-dimensional. You know, I'm not just like some random artist on the internet who just draws 24/7. No, I have a life and I do enjoy my life. And I think maybe by talking about it, you guys can also, you know, kind of see what kind of person I am and where my interests lie and where my, you know, like ambitions. Okay, no, I'm sounding like way too ambitious, but yeah. So anyways, for me, my school started up last week. It's actually going to be my last semester at my community college is where I go right now. So I was actually supposed to transfer to a University of California, a UC, this semester. But a funny story about that. So actually in the spring, like I said in my previous video, my mental health did get really bad and I was not able to complete one of my prerequisites required to transfer. So instead of talking to the college or talking to the university about like the possibility of completing my prerequisite at the university, I decided to just not respond to them. I decided that I was just not gonna get in for some reason, and I just didn't respond to my acceptance letter, even though I got accepted. I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, that kind of screwed me over for now, and then I'm probably gonna transfer in the fall of next year, unless they let me in this year, which isn't even that like good, I guess, because of the whole COVID situation. Also like the forest fires, like California's having it really rough right now, literally. Yeah, but as for the sorry about the random sounds. As for the spring semester, as for the fall semester, my current classes, I'm taking 2 classes. I'm taking a math class, and I'm also taking Japanese, beginner Japanese. or beginning Japanese, whichever then that was. Elementary Japanese. Yeah, so that's what I'm taking. I actually studied Japanese in high school. So I studied Japanese for 3-ish years in high school. Because, you know, I was a weeb and I had the dreams of watching anime without subtitles, like every other weeb out there who decides to study Japanese. Yeah, so that was my initial goal. That was my initial reason for studying Japanese. So I studied for 2 years in high school. And then now it's been maybe 5 or 6 years since then. And I've never really like gone back to it until recently. I've always just kind of like, oh, you know, maybe I should get back into like learning Japanese. But I never really did it because, you know, it's kind of hard to learn a language by yourself, especially like when you have like no resources or you have no idea how to do it online. So up until maybe 2 weeks ago, I wasn't really interested, or I didn't really know how to study Japanese by myself. But around 2 weeks ago, I decided to download an app called Hello Talk. Not sponsored, by the way. There's no way I'm gonna get sponsored by any of these like apps or whatever. But Hello Talk is basically a very limited social media app especially for language exchange students or people studying other languages. It kind of pairs you up with the other language that you're studying. And yeah, so I was able to find some people from Japan that were studying English. And for the past 2 weeks, every day I've called someone like in Japanese, right? Like I converse with them in Japanese and they converse with me in English. It's kind of like half and half, you know, like I help them, they help me kind of thing. And I think I've actually learned more in the past 2 weeks than I have my entire second year in high school. Like this is how good it is to learn from conversation, to learn from like practical use of languages. It's so helpful and so efficient. What I'm basically doing is I'm like talking to them in Japanese as much as I can. And when my grammar is wrong or I don't know a vocabulary word, I ask them to correct me. They write it down in like the chat. They'll write it in like, there's like different writing systems in Japanese. So they'll write it in like different, like they'll write it in Japanese basically. And I take that. I also kind of translate it, or they tell me what the meaning is. I put it all on a flashcard, not on a flashcard, but on like a set of flashcards. And then I review those vocabularies. So I'm basically learning vocabulary and practicing conversation and learning new grammar all at the same time. It's so efficient. Like, I don't know why I never did this earlier, but yeah, it's really cool. And honestly, I think it's the best way for me to learn at the moment. My Japanese class I'm taking right now, as I said before, is like elementary, like very beginner Japanese. And honestly, it's a bit easy. It's a bit too easy. We're literally learning hiragana right now, which is one of the 3 writing systems in Japanese. It's the very first one you learn usually. And yeah, like I get kind of bored in that class, but recently I've actually made some friends, very cool friends actually. And then we made a Discord server especially for studying Japanese and for people in that class that we know. and sorry about that. And we named it Hokage Bootcamp, like Hokage in Naruto. It's like a really funny joke between us. Yeah, like we're all trying to be Hokages by learning Japanese or something. Yeah, but so far my progress has been pretty good. I've been improving a lot in conversation. I've had more confidence talking about it and such. So yeah, anyways, lastly, I do want to talk about what I want to do with this channel moving forward. So I really want to make like these videos, like longer, less structured videos talking about a variety of topics, not just art. I do have a few like tutorial and explanation videos planned. Sneak peek, one of them is about art block and the other one is like art program tutorial. So yeah, look forward to that. I think I might be doing a bit less challenges because they're kind of, unless they're really interesting, they're kind of like not as intriguing to me, I guess. Like those like 3 marker challenges or like those like 10-minute drawing challenges, like those I used to do quite a bit, but now I guess the only challenge I'll probably do is the draw this again in your draw this again challenge or draw this in your style challenge. I like those 2 a lot. Yeah, so less challenges, more consistency. I will try to post more by making kind of more like low effort videos like these ones. I hope they're so enjoyable though. Like I'm literally just talking over a speed paint, you know, like it's not too much work for me to do. But Usually my videos do take quite a bit of work because for the voiceover ones, especially the anime progress, the start to finish ones, those take a lot of work because I do my research, I find the images, I plot them in and everything. Yeah, but anyways, I do want to say thank you guys so much for almost 10k subscribers. Like, that actually blows my mind. In the beginning, I remember when I started doing YouTube, I was like, you know what? Once I hit 10k, I'm gonna quit because that's just too many people. I don't want to be famous. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going, keep making content for you guys, and keep having fun on here. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video was enjoyable. This was all one take, so sorry if I messed up a bit here and there. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Yeah, bye guys. Thanks for watching.